What is the most illegal thing you have ever gotten away with? In high school, we had this tight-knit clique of friends. Everyone in our group was absolute best friends. Ride or die type of guys. We hung out all the time, shared stories of the girls we had been with, got drunk together, and so on. One night one of our buddies Jay hits us up in our group chat saying he had just bought a new car with the help of his parents and asked if we all wanted to cruise. A lot of our buddies opted out as it was finals week. I said, yeah man, let's do it. My buddy D also said that he was in. Lo and behold, Jay arrives in a very nice, very fast car, and I hop in as we head off to pick up D. We pick up D around 11 that night and spend some time doing our typical activities, chiefing, drinking, cruising around town revving his car, racing people from red lights, and flirting with every hot girl we came across. Now because this car was a two-seater we had put D in the trunk, he could still see everything just fine as the trunk was not separate from the main portion of the vehicle. We were having fun screeching to stops, drifting corners, and slamming him around back there. After a few hours, we get bored. We start cruising down a highway to head to a suburb of our town just to see what's going on there. Jay was talking the entire way about how he had no clue of what the top speed on his car was. He told us the governor had been removed. I looked at him and said, nobody is out here man, just punch the gas and find out, and he does. We're driving like hell on this 4-lane highway blazing past what little traffic there is. D and I are taking videos laughing it up as Jay is calling out speeds. 130. 135. 140. Right as he said 140 I turned my camera to focus on a sign because they went by so fast and I wanted to show everyone how fast we were going. Right underneath that sign, to my horror, was a police officer clocking traffic. We absolutely blow by him. D must have seen him as well because before I could get a word he starts freaking out. At this moment, a long way behind us, the lights flick on and Jay sees him as well. Jay starts panicking as I try to stay calm and dictate the situation to him. At this point, we were pushing 150. Jay is freaking out screaming, dude, what do I do? What do I do? In all of my infinite wisdom, I yell out, keep your foot on that gas until we hit a back road turn off. This was it, we were truly running from the cops. We had done it before but never alone. It was always house parties that had been busted, you know, the kind where 3 cops walk in and 50 drunk kids run in every direction. This was far from that. We were a target rather than a busted up party. Jay yells out for one of us to hook up the police scanner to his aux cord. D jumps onto his app as I was already on my Maps app giving Jay directions. Immediately through the stereo we hear, all available units respond, I am in pursuit of a vehicle moving at a very high rate of speed. At that moment my heart sank even further. This was really happening. I tell Jay to start slowing down as there was a turnoff ahead of us that led to a winding mess of country roads. We must have torn half of the tread off of his tires around that right-hand turn at 45. I inform him that this road runs straight for a mile or so and then ends in a T-type turn. He guns it. I could barely hear the panicked voice of D over the engine. We are jetting down this 2-lane road through the middle of nowhere at 120. His headlights hit the sign ahead informing us the road was ending. The tires screech as I yell out left. 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 We screamed around that corner at a ridiculous speed and take off again. After a half mile or so we realized that there had been no red and blue lights behind us since we turned off that main highway. Jay immediately slows down to the allowed 55 miles per hour speed limit. Everyone in that vehicle lets out a huge sigh of relief. At this point, we were keen to hear what they were saying on the police radio. Silence. D's phone had died. We have never scrambled so fast to get another phone plugged into that aux cord as we did that night. As we were hooking it up, D shouts from the back, guys get ready, I see headlights. At this point, Jay and I had fallen into a trance of stupidity. I called back to D saying, yeah dude, just a farmer out cruising. They'd have their lights on if it was a cop, especially the same one that was chasing us before. Not 20 seconds later D screams, it's a cop, he's still on us. It's a cop. I was laughing at him, calling out to him and mocking him, yeah right dude, you're paranoid, just chill. He was insistent that this was a cop. I said, look dude, if that's a cop they'd be all over the scanner right now, it's completely silent. I looked down at my phone and realized my volume was off. I turned it up, and the first words I heard sunk my heart even further. I'm on him, he's traveling southbound. Waiting on backup to close in on the driver, I do not have plates yet. Those last words were a godsend. I look at Jay who was panicked out of his mind and scream, no plates. Hit that gas pedal. The next thing I know it's panic both in the car and on the police scanner. We were going 145, 150 at times down a dark 2-lane road. D was screaming expletives repeatedly. Over the scanner, the officer was screaming they're running again. I'm losing them. I'm losing them. We ended up in an area where I had some knowledge of the roads. I was directing Jay this time without a map, just vague estimates. Somehow, through a winding course of high-speed turns and even faster straights, we hear over the scanner I have completely lost them, last seen southbound. This made me the most relieved to hear, not only was he not behind us. He hadn't gotten our plates, and we happened to be heading north. After a couple of miles of clenching worry, I tell him, look man, they are setting up a perimeter for us, just listen to the radio, there's no way we are going to make it back to town without getting caught. Both D and Jay agreed with me, and I directed Jay to a lake road which was way off from any main road. It pained me to hear the dirt, gravel, and potholes of that road banging up Jay's car as we crept down it, all lights off. We made it about 7 miles back, which took almost 45 minutes, and put the car off the road into the woods. We sat out drinking what alcohol we had left. It was a much needed relief. The next day we cautiously drove back home. We cruised 1 mile per hour under the limit, signaling at every movement, and doing everything just right. We were tailed by 4 different cops that morning. They had to have known it was us. Each one followed us for several miles. We knew we couldn't run. It was broad daylight, they now had our plates, and there was heavy traffic. Never once did we get stopped. They didn't get our plates when we ran. Although it may have been obvious we were the runners from the night before, they were not able to do anything about it. In our minds we were geniuses. We all fabricated a story that we had just come from a friend's house down south and were heading to the mall in town, that we were all home last night. We never needed it. Thank God.